Hey there, boys and girls. So we're going to be showing you all here how to use the software audio modeling wind instruments. This will be saxes and a trumpet, so both the brass and the woodwinds. With a breath controller. This is the tech control. However, there's a lot of demos of this out there already. However, they all use a keyboard as the input. We are going to be using a guitar. I know, whacked, right? So I started playing MIDI guitar in the late 80s with a band I was in, a soul band, and being the 80s, we could find lots of keyboard players who could use sequencers and make all kinds of weird boop boop sounds with a synth, but had no idea what a B3 organ was supposed to sound like, and this being a Memphis soul band, that was way more important. So I kind of learned how to, at least make some of the appropriate sounds using a guitar. Got out of that for a long time, and when my horn band imploded about 3 years ago, and me and a friend, Scott Woodward, started working together again and trying to do something more of a yacht rock variety. It became really obvious that a lot of songs that didn't need that second guitar, and I needed to find some sonic space, and so I started looking at doing some MIDI stuff again. I didn't want to get really involved in hardware if I could avoid it. So I found some great software by a company called Jam Origins called MIDI Guitar 2. MIDI Guitar 2 allows you to do pitch to MIDI conversion from a guitar without any additional hardware. So no hexaphonic pickup and no hardware unit on the floor. The input to everything's done on my Mac. It's a MacBook Pro. The only getting the guitar into the Mac happens with a Line 6 Helix floor unit, which also handles all the guitar processing sounds and amp modeling and everything else. And then we use the USB output of that to get into the computer where MIDI Guitar 2 takes over. That is feeding MainStage, which is a program for hosting virtual instruments for it's kind of made for live performance. And then we're using the SWAM instruments as plugins. There, we're also using a couple of standard Logic MainStage patches too. So on the audio from this, you'll hear a Rhodes. That's just a standard patch available in Logic or MainStage, and a B3, same deal there. But again, both those played with the guitar. So there you go. What we're really trying to show you here is the SWAM stuff, which is amazing. Once I started getting back into the MIDI guitar thing, like I said, it was all about finding sonic space and figuring out that a lot of time playing organ or auxiliary synth stuff was a lot more important for the kind of music we were doing. So I decided to try the horn thing too, and used the standard patches that are available in Logic, and thought it was okay. And then I played it for the guys in the band, and they told me how completely not okay it actually was. That I'm not even going to tell you the words they used, but it was not good. Said it, it just sounded horrible. And honestly, any of you who've tried to use synths with horn kind of stuff, sometimes you can get away with brass, but when you start getting a reed involved, it gets really dicey real fast, and it's really hard to do. So I started looking around for, just your basic Google search for best virtual instrument saxophone. And that's where I discovered the SWAM stuff. I was blown away, just completely blown away at how realistic it was. And so I've been working towards getting something like this done for a few months. It took me a little while to wrap my head around. When you put the breath controller into it too, this is not just breath. It's breath and bite, and then there's a nod, so as your head goes back, and then a sideways tilt too. The way I have this set up for the SWAM instruments is that the articulation or expression is on the breath. Vibrato comes in when you bite down on it. The growl effect for saxophones is from a head tilt, and then with a head nod, nod is growl, and then a head tilt actually increases the speed of the vibrato, and it allows you to be super, super expressive. Again, everything's SWAM, everything played on the guitar with the breath controller, so enjoy. Okay, so what we're doing here is setting up one of the SWAM instruments in main stage. So I've already created a patch over here called Trumpet. That's what we're doing now, is setting up a basic trumpet patch. We're going to go over here to our channel strips and add a new one that is an audio instrument. Create that. And in the audio effects section, we're going to add MIDI Guitar 2, which is the pitch to MIDI plugin. Because of the kind of instruments I'm playing, I'm going to, actually I'm going to leave this one alone to start with. We may end up transposing. There are these MIDI effects that you can put in for anything. I often use a transposer to get myself where the guitar is lining up with the natural range of the instrument that I'm adding. So, but we're going to leave that be for right now. So we've got that, and now we're going to go back over here. We're going to add another channel strip. It's going to be a software instrument this time, and we're going to create it. Okay, so now, first thing we want to do is make sure we're going to an output that can be heard. So this is going out to a PreSonus Studio Live 32R, and the Mac is feeding USB into channels 3 and 4. So what we're going to want to do is change this, which is at 1, 2, which is default, and go up and make it 3, 4, so it's going to where we expect it to go to. And then we're going to go over here and add an instrument. And so you'll find these under AU instruments, and then audio modeling. And like I said, we're going to do a trumpet patch here. So we're just going to do a straight trumpet for right now. Actually, let's make it a stereo. And when this comes up, we're going to need to get it onto the breath controller. And it's not quite as easy to do that in the brass as it is the woodwinds. It's just, God dang it. It's not going to let me make that smaller. I'm afraid that I'm not seeing something that's down below the dot here. What we're trying to do is find the here. Okay, here we are, MIDI mapping. So we should have, there we go, breath controller default. So we're going to choose that. And for right now, we're just going to let that be. We're not going to add any of the other things. The breath controller I'm using can map head tilt and nod, as well as vibrato and from the bite and the articulation from blowing into it, but we're not going to do that right now. Okay, so now we should have a trumpet.
That works for me.
I'm like some damn Don Quixote whose friends say he just wasting time. Counting with windmills, chasing dreams while the world flies on by. What they tell me, I'm not listening. Is that my imagination? Is she just walking? Yes, I think I see you right up ahead. Ain't gonna waste no more time. Is that Venus coming forward just to trigger the light? Yeah, it's gonna be love when I finally find that unicorn girl. Okay, so just to wrap this up quickly, because it's already way too long, there's obviously a ton you can do with the guitar that goes way beyond just making the tone different with pedals. When you get into the whole MIDI and software thing, you can do pretty much anything. We're going to be breaking down a whole bunch more of this in a lot more detail and in much smaller and easier to manage chunks, I promise, in a series we're getting ready to start called Music Tech for Old Dudes and Vintage Chicks. Yep, you want to be in a band again, like back in the day when you were happy as a youngster. But you have no idea how any of this stuff works anymore. So we're going to try and help you out with that. Anyway, go make some music.